9.6 functions. I can represent functions using tables, graphs, and equations.
Yes or no? Can you represent functions?
Yes.
You look at a table, you look at a graph, you look at an equation, you should be able to figure out if you have a function or not. So what is a function? Everybody on the count of three, a function is 1, 2, 3.
A rule that connects and relates to quantities.
So the way we're going to connect or relate to two quantities is our inputs and our
outputs.
or our x's and our
Y's.
or our domains and our
ranges.
Yeah, you guys are smart. Good job. And then a lot of you have seen this in the past, but 3a here, this is your function machine, which is also like your equation, right?
Yes.
Okay, whatever you put in, something's going to be spit out, right? And the x is what we put in, and the y is what is spit out. Yes, no?
Yes.
Therefore, the input and the output. Okay? Okay. So the two rules you need to be aware of. Number one, in order for a function to exist, every input has to have how many outputs?
One.
If it has more than one output, it's not a function, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the second way to determine if a function is in existence is by drawing a
Vertical line.
on a. So you need to actually graph the function then, right? Cool. So the next section then says go look at our graph. So if I go over to this graph, the directions will graph the input-output table and determine if it is a function. So I gave you the input-output table. You graphed it. Is it a function?
Yes.
Everywhere I draw a vertical line, how many times does it cross the graph? Once. And then how many outputs does 0 have? How many outputs does 1 have?
One.
How many outputs does 2 have?
One.
So as far as we can tell, it's a function, right? Second graph. Use this equation, y equals 2/3 x minus 4. You could have just used this equation, and graphed it, right? Slope-intercept, our y-intercept is -4, right? Slope is, our slope is rise over run, so rise of 1, 2, run of 3. Rise of 1, 2, run of 3. Connect your dots. Draw some vertical lines. Is it a function? Yeah. Some of you, or a lot of you, actually chose to use one of these. Every input, so every x has how many outputs? 1. Do you think 0 is ever going to have something different than -4?
No.
If you plug in 0 into this equation, you're always going to get -4. You're never going to get anything different, right? This one, pretty obvious one. How many outputs does 0 have? So if you look at this, 0 has 3 as an output and it has -3 as an output. You already know it's not a function, right? And if I graphed 0, 3, I would put a dot right here. And if I graphed 0, -3, I'd put a dot right here, right? And if I draw a vertical line, you're going to be crossing that line in every single spot that that line exists. Yes, no? So if I connect the 2 points I made, so there's my connection, and then I draw my vertical line, you're crossing that graph in every single spot. So that's not a function. So vertical lines are never going to be a, hello?
Function.
Heads off desks. Okay, I think this is the last one. No, it wasn't. Second to last one. So there we have a vertical line. Yes, no? Is it a function?
No.
Vertical lines are never functions. Okay? And then the last one, the one that confused us the most. I gave you the equation y equals 3 minus x squared. What is the y-intercept?
3.
This is still the y-intercept, even though we're used to it being at the end of the equation, right?
Yeah.
And we proved it because if you plug in 0 for x, y is 3, yes? No? So I made you make a table, so you created 1, 2, and you guys started realizing, oh my god, this is not a straight line. All we've had is straight lines before. So I said, well, let's just double check and let's use negative numbers. And you started getting this little wishbone guy here, right? And Luke told us that's not a wishbone, it's a parabola, right? Okay, look up the definition of parabola. But all of our rules still work. If we draw vertical lines anywhere on this graph, how many times does it cross it? Once. If you look at your input-output table, do we have more than one output for 0?
No.
Do we have more than one output for 1?
No.
No. Do we have more than one output for -1?
No.
All of our inputs are only giving us one output, right? So is it a function? And a lot of you for your cheat sheet said functions don't necessarily have to be
Straight line.
straight line. Questions, comments?